Gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the BasedBros live stream. Today, we'll be looking at this one special project, which is known as Garden Finance. It's a trustless peer to peer Bitcoin bridge. And to be very honest with you, as somebody who has been in crypto long enough, I think my exposure to Bitcoin has been shamefully quite less. And that has always been a little bit of a problem because I think everybody can strive to always own more Bitcoin. And I think that is what like apps like Bitmore and a couple of others kind of unlock for the ecosystem. Like when you're young, I don't think like anybody is ever telling you that, oh, you know what? Bitcoin is the way to go, or you should have like more Bitcoin or anything like that. I just don't think people talk like that anymore, which is a huge problem, right? Because if somebody would have told me earlier on that you could just hold Bitcoin and it would all play out in your favor, like I would have just simply laughed at them. But yeah, I know that they have been hacked in the past, and that is of course that is always like a moment of reputation, matter of concern for most people. I honestly cannot think of a lot of bridges that have not been hacked. I think even in my mind I can recall like most popular bridges have suffered some sort of security exploit. I know it sucks. We need to do better. Everybody agrees. Yada yada yada. Now that being said, I think they've been tweeting out pretty fine, which looks good to me. To be very honest, I think these people have been focused completely on, you know, that is a little bit weird. It's like December 18th was like the last tweet, and then oh sorry, December 19th was the last tweet, and it's like December 25. Okay, I agree. Okay, there was like the holiday season going on, so it's all right. So if you search for lazy, slow, present phrase, I think like jazz keeps working here a lot. I am really big fan of the idea of, um, you know, improving UX, because at the end of the time, that's all you have at the end of the day, right? So they've been working a lot on their tweets, so that is really good. And I say that Jazz is doing like founder funnel pretty fucking well, to be honest. So that's really good. I would say that he should mention you know he should mention like Bitcoin, sorry, Garden in his bio. To be honest, like that site should of course be there. Now let's try using it, okay? Because at the end of the day, we can all talk a big game. Let's try using it. Swap stake. I love how simple this is. Really big fan of that. Let me try Rabi because I love Rabi. So let me try. Are we in? Yes, we're in. Okay. It's well established. Hmm. I think one of my major points would be that this screen should just auto close. So yeah, I just find it weird that it did not auto close. I have some Mon for whatever reason. And why do I have it showing up like this? Do I not have any other assets or what? I only have this much USDT on here. That's a little bit weird. Can I send like one Mon? I would want to see a dollar value here, which is something that I keep saying again and again. I think just having like the ability to punch in a dollar value and then get as much Mon would be really cool. I think Jumper Exchange does this really well. Let's see. Can we get BTC for that? The minimum amount is 471. Okay, shit. Fuck. So I can only do this. I would like to see USDC in here, to be very honest. I practically do not have anything else. This is gonna be a little bit difficult. Let me see what I can do. Do I really not have any assets on here? What's the deal? My bad, guys. My bad. I think I would have just like connected the wrong wallet or something. Let me log out, connect again, go to Rabi, connect here, and I think the screen should auto close. It goes without saying. Now we have some USDT. Amazing. Awesome. Okay, so I can take Bitcoin, right? I can take CBBTC as well. I can take Binance Bitcoin. I can take just BTC. So let me just do like BTC. Okay, minimum required is 10 BTC. Or if I want this, and I'll have to enter like a Bitcoin address. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is, luckily what happens is that if you're using Base app, one of the benefits of using the Base app is you can practically receive Bitcoin on one of the addresses that is created if you're using the base app. Now the problem here is that I only know how to access this in like base in like the non-base mode, because if you have like the base mode, then it doesn't work, which is I mean it's a bit of a problem. So yeah, that. So let me see how can I make this happen. Mm, to be honest, I think I think this is something like the team just has to like focus on. I have no idea why so many people are like following me on Twitter, but okay. I meant to say base app, by the way. Let me try to receive from here. Like you see how you have this option to select like other assets. I don't know if you guys can see it, but let me actually just like maximize my screen for a while. Okay. Yeah. So you have this ability to receive like assets and like different addresses on the base app, but you can only access this if you're not using the base app, like the base mode, right? If you're using Coinbase wallet as Coinbase wallet. And I think the problem is that like I made my girlfriend download this, and she could not see like the toggle for base app, which makes it really fucking problematic. You know why? Because one day Coinbase can come out and say, oh well, you know, we don't know how to do that anymore, like we've just removed the functionality altogether, and that would be like pretty fucking stupid. And I'd be left with not a lot of Bitcoin, but at least some Bitcoin, and it would be like completely left exposed. So let's try this. Honestly, if this happens, I'd be really fucking happy. So let's try this. Oh, that's a really huge token approval, man. I would say that that token approval was probably like upwards of 115K or something. So I think that is another point that Garden Finance team can look into, which is that having a little bit less approval would be really cool. Now it's still scanning for liquidity. Okay, it is. Wow, transaction is already happening, redeeming BTC. That was super fast. I think there is a delay on the front end UI right here, because I think the transaction went through first, which is like on Zerion. I would argue that the UI should change a little bit faster. Simple reason being that people are quite finicky. At least I'm finicky. So yeah, I think holy shit, did it go through? That was really fast, and that was from Ethereum. Nice. Did my Bitcoin just improve? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Yep, I just received $98 worth of Bitcoin. Crazy. Oh no, not $98 worth of Bitcoin. Sorry about that, guys. I think that's my whole issue. It is saying that it has come through, but actually, let me just go to like Zerion at this point. Is there any way I can like? So this is not so much on Garden Finance team. This is more so on like the base app team at this point. Like if I have received Bitcoin, it should show me right here, right, that how much Bitcoin have I received. Otherwise, how am I supposed to know? Like, look here. Why is it not showing up in history? It did go through. I just saw it. And yes, it was this very address. I could not have gotten that wrong because I was literally copying addresses. So let me let me fire it up. I'll have to go the old school route for Bitcoin. Yep, there you go. It's unconfirmed, but at least it has happened. So I'm assuming it will happen sooner than later. Uh, yeah, that's all I can say for now, to be very honest. But I think like if they so what I am really curious about is there like a delay on my side, or is there a delay on the side of Garden Finance? because that's really fucking important, right? Because if there's a delay on my side, then I want to know, like, am I doing something stupid, or is it the UI's problem? Because I want to know why it has not showed up here on my phone. Because as a user, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? And I think, my god, I swear to god, guys, like, I have a story for you. So the first time, so story time for you guys, okay? Back in 2021, none of the bridges had this like very sleek UI, right? Like, there was no UI UX. You were just sending money. And I remember I was using like, some bridge. Maybe it was jump. I don't know if it was Jumper or Bungee, or if these guys existed. It was some bridge, right? Symbiosis or something, so some bridge, right? Probably even layer zero. It was some bridge. And I remember sending my money there, and I went to the washroom and I could not poop. And the reason I could not poop was because I had sent like $200 or $300 back then, which was like a huge amount, right? I was just 21-year old. So it was a huge amount for me. And I'd sent this money, and it had exited my wallet. And my idea was that, okay, I'd send it through and it would come right back. That did not happen. It took me like 8 9 minutes. Like, it was that bad that I was seeing, like, after what amount of time would the Ethereum protocol roll back the chain, quote unquote, because of atomic swaps or something, and I would receive the money back in my wallet. Like, I was happy, not even the transaction going through. I just wanted my money back at that point of time. So from that, it has definitely improved. And I feel really privileged to be nitpicky about the fact that, hey, this is not coming, you know like, as fast as I expected it to do. But okay, let me see what's in stake. Deposit seed into garden to unlock new opportunities. Stake multiples of 2100 seed to what? How do I buy this? How do I get seed? I think this is a major blocker for you guys. There's no way for like a new user to get seed. So that would be something. Um like okay, it said buy seed. Okay, it took some time that I can buy. Oops, I think somebody's at the door, so I'll be back in like a couple of minutes, guys. Just give me time. Okay, guys, I'm back. You know, and as you can see, I am on a table and a chair. One thing you can do is, if the minimum is 2100 seed, then maybe you can guys can link a URL such that this says 2100. I think Galaxy, the Quest platform, used to do that. So the minimum I need is $396. Are we sure this cannot be lowered? That's a lot, especially with, like, I would want to know if there's a way to lower this. And another thing I'd want to know is what new opportunities are being unlocked, because if I'm being asked to like lock in like $400, and if I'm like kind of like a you know just grow up, then this is a little bit of a problem. Hmm. I think if we lower this amount somewhat, that would be really cool. I really like, by the way, how the UI is like super simple. I'm a big fan of like simple UI. Let me see what's in Explorer. Okay, so this is like Garden Explorer. This is probably me. Why garden not initiated, not initiated. Oh, there's a lot of not initiated ones, man. The fuck. There are people who are using garden. There are people who are using like different sources, so like Li-Fi probably is like Jumper, I think. Docs, API, SDK. Chop Bitcoin cross chain, cross minutes. Okay. Last update was January 1st. Analytics, audits, obviously important. I really like how I think people should learn a thing or two from like bridges when it comes to security, because bridges really do invest like a lot of money in their security, man. As they should. Because if it goes wrong, then it's very, very difficult to make it all happen. Oh, we've had like 28K in Bitcoin is huge. 2 billion atomic swaps, fees collected. Oh, 3.1 mil is good fees collected, but like over how much of a period of time again? So they've been running since like September 2024. So you can say like over like roughly 1.5 years or something. Like not even 1.5, but like 1.25 years or something. Pretty good. What is SIM? Oh, I know this one. SIM was here. I'll just go back now to Dune. By the way, really good. I think it's like a little bit similar compared to the liquid glass UI UX, huh? It's kind of crazy how much Dune has changed. Holy shit, man. It's a lot. Okay, this is not a Dune specific video. Sorry, guys. I just kind of get carried away every time something interesting happens. Oh, what the fuck is this? What happened? What? How did 37 people suddenly sign up here? What were we guys doing on like in like okay, somebody cooked in the month of December. I don't know how it happened, but something happened in the month of December. We just like shot up right here. So yeah. Okay, you basically if you get 2100 you can get ref share. I think then you should say ref share right here. Why are you not saying ref share, to be honest? Wait, where did it go? Yes, this one. Yeah, you should just say to like to unlock ref share and new opportunities, or you can write basically something like that. I think that would just make more sense. So yeah, and why is it only in multiple of 2100 seats? You should probably add like an exclamation mark right here that I can like hover on to like understand why that has happened. What is this bell icon? Does the bell icon do anything? mm, Move Bitcoin without trust. Okay, get started. Bro, the bell icon does nothing. I think we should get rid of the bell icon because right now it's not doing anything. uh yeah, I think that's about. Oh, they have governance and audits as well. Wait, let me just kind of look. 2026 zero confirmation swaps, decentralized solvers, decentralized minute, cheapest USDT to BTC bridge, garden monthly, trustless bridge. I think this would be fun to read, which I will read later on. Keep full control, over 2 billion, decentralized solver layer. Okay, give me 1 second. Scale. Hmm. Let's see what else this has. There was supposed to be like an audit page. I swear to God, there was one. Oh yeah, there you go. We've got Trail of Wit, Zelek. Oh, these are all like super nice names, by the way. So that sounds good. I think the future is pretty bright for Garden. What I think will be the biggest problem that they will face, I think chain abstraction, to be very honest. Because ideally, I don't want to know that I'm using Garden. That's the thing. It's the same thing with sound design, If you do sound design well, you don't get noticed. And I think 0x exchange, which is the one that base app is currently using, like if you try to trade anything, you won't even notice it on the base app. You'll actually have to go via Zerion. So when you look at Zerion, that's when you're going to see that, okay, on the back end, it's the 0x exchange, which is routing the trades on the back end. And I think that's where Garden Finance will make most of its money. It's going to be through plugging into applications like Farcaster, or plugging into applications like the Base app, different wallets that are out there, offering the best rates possible with the highest security possible. And I think will also require some sort of shift from wallet slash bridge aggregators when it comes to how they are prioritizing or suggesting bridges. Because on the front end, of course, everybody will always try to give you the best rate possible, but people will need to then figure out a metric for best rate possible while being the safest option without any trade-offs being there. And I think if Garden Finance can crack that territory somehow, they would be really, really good. I think they can. What Garden can do really well is like go heavy into newer chains like Monad, Mega ETH, Base for all that I care, Abstract, and then enable Bitcoin purchases from there. I know that the era of the L2s is kind of like dying out, but I think more and more people. I think from a distance, 30,000 feet overview, not as somebody who's like very well researched into this topic, I really think that there may be a chance to explore this kind of Bitcoin bridge capability between traditional finance chains like that of Tempo, for example. Because I think people who are going to be investing, or people who are going to be dealing with large sums of money on these chains, will require Bitcoin exposure as well. And I would have to check. I think Wormhole and a lot of others are like competitors or maybe partners, because the bridge space is really collaborative at the end of the day. You think you're competing, but at the end of the day, it's it's really, how do I put it, man? It's really different, if that makes sense. It carries forward with it a different level of expertise that is required, because with traditional finance chains, they do not require speed as much as it requires security. So would be interesting. So that is basically all about Garden Finance. As much as, so of course we'll be dropping all of the recommendations in a neat one pager. Majorly UX changes, of course, on the front end. And wait, let me just reply to this message. Yeah. And majorly I would say that largely none of the things would matter in the long run if they find the right front end to plug into. I would say that Bitcoin maximalist communities would need to be tapped in more. I would like to see them in like, the national Bitcoin conferences and stuff like that. I would want them to be featured a little bit more. If they partner up with like the latest L2s, then they can basically get grants slash exposure through them. So if they become like the first place to buy Bitcoin on almost all of the new chains that are coming up. Yeah, I think that would be a pretty solid place. So that's basically all about Garden Finance. Now I have an announcement to make, and this announcement is pretty interesting. And the reason it is pretty interesting is because I would be largely focusing, of course, on crypto, focusing, of course, um, on base itself, but I would also be looking at AI products. And the reason is very simple. I do not want to pivot to AI simply for the sake of pivoting to AI, because I think that's just gay. uh, One should do what one uses the most, and one should do what like comes naturally to someone. I think using products comes really naturally to me. I love using products. I'll always use products, right? So I've used so many AI products at this point of time that I think I can voice the frustration of an average user out very well. And I think Silicon Valley is filled with a lot of AI products that want to understand how something works. And if I put out like one pagers and like theses about these projects, then this can be a very good due diligence criteria for a couple of VC firms out there who are looking to invest into projects or invest into AI projects. Okay, maybe not as as much diligent as your average VC intern. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm not that smart yet being the keyword, but one day I'll be there. So that's what I'm gonna do, carrying forward. And yeah, that's about it from my end. I would see you guys later. So every other day we are going to see some sort of like an AI project. I'm gonna start with like the best ones that I have that I'm super stoked about. Not even like just AI projects, but like projects in general that I use on my Mac or in my do stuff. So a couple of them would be like Granola, for example, Perplexity, for example. How we have not yet used, but like ChatGPT, of course, versus Grok. Then you have the example of Raycast. I'm a big Raycast fan. I think everybody who owns a Mac should be using Raycast, right? Amazing app, gets the job done. Some really cool websites that I've seen over time, some really cool newsletters that I've seen. So it's basically like a curation of AI and crypto that I think that is quite missing. I really wanted there to be like a singular place for all of my crypto needs and all of my AI needs, because I see AI and crypto as like the mega trend, right? So if it's the mega trend, you can basically focus on both. There's no reason for them to be divorced. I think crypto is basically the financialization of AI at the end of the day. Zeros and ones will just simply make more sense to AI once it decides to spend it. And how far are we from AGI is a debate for another day. But I would want to tell my children that, you know what, when AI was taking over the world and crypto was changing the way people made payments, your father was there. Your father was making content about it. I may not be the first person making content about it. Frankly, I consider myself to be 5 years late, but at least I'm not 5 years later for all that I care. So that's what I'm going to be doing on BasedBros live stream. This channel will, of course, stay more or less focused on crypto, on AI, on base in particular, because I think that's my highest confidence L2 at this point of time. That's all from my end, guys. Thank you.